Moving on to our next segment, standout
Oh,
moment of the week, our favorite panel or page. Give it up for the art, the moment that struck a chord. If I just talk with some stilting, I can get this show to 2 hours. No.
are you just going to do a Christopher Walken impression for?
Oh, true. I just saw someone talk about how, do you talk in what is it, pentameter or whatever the fucking,
Mm,
what I'm talking about, Shakespeare talk?
yeah, iambic pentameter.
Thank you. And they said that basically that's what Christopher Walken does because
I
he's
heard,
he's talking in stanzas.
I heard that when he was a young actor, that
Yeah.
somebody was like, I don't like the way you talk. So then
Mm.
he decided that he's just going to like emphasize parts of of a sentence that like nobody else would, and that's why he speaks in that specific kind of tone and cadence.
That sounds like something you'd do.
Just to like, well, you don't like this, well, I'm going to do something extra weird. Yeah, no, I get that spirit. I hope that story is true.
Uh, that's funny. My favorite full page splash of the week comes from Venom 256 by Al Ewing and Carlos Gomez. Carlos, man, his art is getting insanely good every issue, but spoilers, I should have said that first. If you're watching this on YouTube, spoilers. But if
Whoopsie doodle.
you're listening, go to AIPTcomics.com. The art is in the article. Torment, our serial killer of the month in Death Spiral, stabs Paul in not the heart, more like the lower sternum.
Or
I
for
feel like
gut,
that's
yeah,
I
it's
feel like that's
yeah.
important because it's not like instant death.
No,
But
it's probably a torturous, slow
yeah.
demise for that
Well, we
fella.
do see Paul's eyes close later in this scene, so he may or may not be very dead. But
He did
anyway,
get stabbed, so I would close
yeah.
my eyes.
I'm pretty sure he's dead. On Friday, Marvel posted a GIF of Paul dying on their Twitter to like say like rest in peace, Paul. They know that this character pisses people off. So that's
He
why that's
is,
my kapow.
yeah. People are very, very happy that he is dead, and that
Yeah.
how he died seems to be quite popular as well. Not just that he's dead.
Well, I will put a little asterisk on that because as the curator of Venom Unleashed Marvel AIPT's column where we talk with the creators behind Venom, I've seen questions like, "How dare you
Are
kill
there
Paul in this way and make him a martyr?
are
He
oh
deserves worse," they say.
do they
And
what's
hmm?
that dog from The Simpsons where they just like they brought him into like Itchy and Scratchy and then like they
Yeah.
just killed him
Oh yeah,
off
yeah,
by
yeah.
sending him to space? Is
The
that what
cool
they
dog
wanted?
guy.
They're just yeah, they just want like
Yeah,
Paul to like walk
they run
away.
out. They ran out of money, and he just goes to
Yeah.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you go worse. I guess make him awful. But what's funny too is like people were mad about Dylan being upset, and it's like, guys, you might hate Paul, but in the
Yeah,
story, he's like a father, and he's nice to Dylan,
yeah, it makes sense that he would be upset by this.
right? And I saw someone argue that, oh no, Paul will be Dylan's Gwen Stacy, which I think is so funny. And they should do that. They honestly
I
should do
want that
that.
100% just so that we have to talk about Paul for the rest of time.
Uh, anyway, if you go read in Venom Unleashed this week, AIPT is the only place where Al Ewing, Joe Kelly, and Charles Soule and Nick Lowe talk about this death officially. Now, they are very jokey in this column, which I also saw people very mad about. But then a lot of people were rationalizing that it's April Fool's Day. But I will tell those people they had been jokey from the start. So this is not an April Fool's thing. Anyway, Al does get a little serious about this and mentions that it's Nick Lowe's idea to kill Paul. But I do they do also say in Venom Unleashed that this has ramifications for MJ. Obviously, she was married to the guy. She thought she had kids with him, and this is going to change her outlook on things. I don't. She was breaking up with him. She already broke up with him, so it's not like she's like in love with him. But she's a human being. Think of these characters if they were real people. They don't hate Paul because you do too. So anyway,
Yeah,
Uh,
they are not your avatars for your weird
yes,
emotions in the world.
exactly, exactly. But what was your favorite moment of the week?
My favorite moment of the week was from year Bizarro Year None #1 by Kevin Smith, Eric Carrasco, Nick Pitarra, Michael Garland, et cetera, et cetera. I just love the whole issue. I just love Nick Pitarra's art style. It's so weird and detailed
Yeah.
and like makes me feel uncomfortable, but I just love staring at all the kind of bits of weirdness and life and energy that he pours into. I just think that this page, especially the top half, is just kind of indicative of his style and also kind of like how he's applying that to Bizarro's world and how, he gets to kind of play around with, gravity and physics and the nature of reality and have all this weird, intense stuff. But then again, at the very bottom in the last kind of panel, there's, that quote about and just as all newspapermen must, he asks a question, which I think is just as important as kind of how weird this book is and how much it's just letting Nick have a chance to draw things in Bizarre World. It's this really kind of interesting exploration of journalism and what it means to kind of be a newsman and why that has value and the ideas of kind of truth versus perception, which I think is going to be important to this origin of Bizarro. And so to have both of those kind of in the same page and like work so well and it just feel kind of like a cool moment that is a little unassuming is I feel like a huge accomplishment and it makes me really excited for the rest of this book and what they're going to do and we're going to get the greatest team up in DC at the moment with Jimmy and Perry White.
For some context, if people haven't read it yet, Jimmy and Perry are in an elevator and they're going through a portal in the top panel here. And the elevator, what do you call it? Elevator room? Is it a room? Is being flung to the planet Bizarro is on, and I find it fascinating that the elevator room is curved and then it's square at the as it lands, as if it has to physically change into the opposite
Yeah,
because they're in Bizarro world.
because yeah, I didn't even really think of that. That maybe that's it. I don't know.
And then also just the way Nick has drawn the like curvature of the ground as if it has pushed through the earth and made this
Yeah,
shape. It really adds to the movement of it, which is
yeah,
crazy.
the geography of kind of the world in this first issue is pretty wild. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what other stuff Nick kind of gets up to and depicting this weird
I
place.
saw someone say, like, did Nick and Frank Quietly go to the same school? Because they
There
both
was
love the little details.
It was, I think it might have been Nick himself, like on some social media post just before the issue came out. I think he like made mention to himself of like bargain bin Frank quietly,
Oh, really?
like as a source of pride for
Mm.
himself, which like it works. Like they absolutely, I think, are touching on the same things and like Nick's art is great. It's so awesome. I think this book is proof of just how like mad science, crazy inventive he is, and
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
it's just the first issue. We've only seen like a very small portion of this world.